It started with sap. A mere, sticky inconvenience that somehow escalated into a multi-point contractual agreement involving insurance certificates and root mitigation plans. My neighbor approached me, all concerned smiles and feigned helpfulness, complaining about the 10 mature western red cedars. Sap, he claimed, was damaging his asphalt driveway. He acknowledged they were on my property, but his tone suggested I was doing him a massive, undeserved favor by even possessing such magnificent flora. I genuinely adore those cedars. They are the architectural backbone of my backyard ecosystem. To lose them would be an ecological tragedy. To keep them and avoid a protracted, messy dispute, I agreed, but only under conditions that would protect me from future liability and aesthetic trauma. First, I demanded a licensed and bonded professional. This wasn't about quality, it was about legal immunity from shoddy workmanship. Then came the utility markings: water, sewer, electric, cable. I needed to eliminate the risk of accidental infrastructure damage. I insisted on stump removal and root extraction. Nothing less than a clean slate for my lawn's future aesthetic potential. Cleanup had to be immediate and total. I wouldn't tolerate debris, sawdust, or the lingering scent of industrial forestry chemicals. A formal notice of work was mandatory, ensuring I had time to review the schedule and potential disruptions. To address the inevitable view straight into his yard problem, I proposed a compensatory planting plan. He was visibly perturbed by the sheer volume of conditions. My meticulous planning clearly upset his simple, DIY vision of favor. I calmly explained that these steps protected me from the legal fallout of a massive, invasive tree removal operation. He countered by suggesting I consult my attorney about the trees being a nuisance and damaging his property. I countered that healthy trees dropping sap are not, in fact, a legal hazard or an actionable nuisance. He asserted that since he was paying, the liability shifted entirely onto him for the removal process. I questioned his knowledge of the actual property boundary, noting the absence of a visible survey marker. I informed him that to proceed with any boundary discussion, I would be commissioning a full, official property survey. The conversation started smoothly, but mentioning my consultation with an attorney seemed to trigger his deeply suppressed sense of inadequacy. I suspect he was hoping to save money by doing the job himself, bypassing all my necessary safety and procedural safeguards. If he were to trim, I immediately questioned whether an expert consultation was required first, or if I needed to hire one myself. I worried about the potential for permanently damaging my beloved trees during any unauthorized or poorly executed trimming attempt. I made it clear that if he damaged my trees without permission, a timber trespass claim was absolutely on the table. It's the same petty enforcement mechanism, a rule violation over aesthetics and perceived inconvenience. My desire for peace was derailed by the sheer need to document every single contingency, clause, and potential point of failure. My meticulous preparation forced him to confront not just a tree removal, but an entire legal and logistical operation. He wanted a quick fix. I required an audited, insured, professionally managed environmental transformation. The professional arborist, originally meant to help, now serves as a neutral arbiter of technical expertise and legal compliance. The emotional energy spent on drafting these conditions could have been used for actual gardening or enjoying the shade. We spent time defining the exact parameters of acceptable damage versus actionable negligence, a truly exhausting exercise in semantics. My focus shifted from mere removal to comprehensive landscape architecture and future aesthetic enhancement. My attorney's advice has instilled a deep-seated need for documentation that borders on the obsessive and highly bureaucratic. He began to realize that this was not a simple favor, it was an industrial-scale, legally mandated construction project. I feel a profound sense of stewardship over these cedars. They are more than wood, they are established members of the neighborhood community. I recognize the irony. His help required me to become a legal expert and project manager for my own property. The property line remains the great unknown variable, adding a layer of delicious legal uncertainty to the whole affair. I maintained a polite but firm demeanor, ensuring that every interaction was framed by the potential threat of legal action. Our backyard is no longer just a yard, it's a highly contested legal battlefield, defined by zoning codes and insurance riders. My ultimate goal was not merely survival, but establishing a new, higher standard of procedural compliance for all future neighbor interactions. We are left with an unprecedented volume of legal documentation, a monument to the sheer pettiness of suburban life.